So yeah, right now we're about to go over Brett Cooper, You Have to Work. Sorry. Get back into the fucking mines. Pipsqueak. Alright, peasant. Go back to work. Alright, who cares if you get black lung from working amongst all this soot, dirt, and cancerous fucking chemicals? You have to go and fulfill your duty as an American citizen. Get a job. Pay for rent, because you can't own anything in the fucking pod.
Brett Cooper. It is no surprise to anybody that
People call her news mommy. I wonder how Brett Cooper feels. I wonder if she even reads her own comments anymore.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know, man. That comment section seems disturbed.
the Gen Z struggles with a lot of things. I've made
Do we?
a lot of episodes about that. But there is something new that they are struggling with. But it actually isn't new. It's new to them, but it's not new to the world. Gen Z is upset with the concept that they might have to work a 9-to-5 job for the rest of their life. And
Said
again,
the
like I said,
podcaster.
the 9-to-5 office job has been the butt of jokes for years. And the question of today is, will Gen Z finally crack the code? Before we get into it, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to this
Let's crack the
channel
code.
if not already.
Well, I'll say this.
Just
Uber Eats has already cracked the code. You don't need to work a 9-to-5. What you need to work is a gig job where you get paid below minimum wage, the hours that you choose, with no benefits and to the detriment of your car's well-being, because for the lumpy sum of $10 an hour, including all the detriments and payments,
Don't forget the inherent danger of basically driving constantly until you're tired.
Yeah, because delivery drivers have the worst job in the world. I mean, they have a more dangerous job than cops, right? Delivery driving.
Oh, yeah, you're on the front line, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, just...
I'm just gonna let that hang in the air.
Delivery jobs are more dangerous.
Yep, I'm gonna let that hang in the air. You're on the front line, soldier.
This is the type of content that I see on TikTok all the time. They literally think that it is the absolute worst thing in the world.
So we're talking about the job and like your qualification, expectations for the job, what are you looking for, basically. We get to the very end and he's like, yeah, so I do just want to let you know this is 5 days a week in the office and you need to be making sure that you're still checking your emails once you get home and just like following up with people. And also you do need to be in the office 1 day over the weekend, so Saturday or Sunday.
That's not 9 to 5. That's not 40 hours a week. That's 48.
And that's the big lie, right? It's like, all right, 40 hours a week, 5 days a week. It's like, oh, but we also want you to be open Saturdays and Sundays.
Also, we want you to be watching your emails.
After hours.
Like,
just be truthful. You don't want 40 hours. You want 24/7 for some of the 7 days. It's like, look, if you want me to be thinking about you 24/7, then, put a little, passive income payment for the fact that I have to be thinking about you. You're living rent-free in my head, okay?
Well, they are renting you out, technically.
Yeah, technically.
You're a dime store whore.
Yeah. Damn.
No. I literally just go. Yeah, so I'm feeling like with the salary and not really having any work-life balance, being that it is a 6-day work week and still having to, do my job when I get home, it's just not aligned. But I really hope that that you find what you're looking for.
Now, okay, when I first watched this video, halfway through, I was thinking this girl is ridiculous. That's a normal job. You have to work 5 days a week. That's crazy. Having to go in for a 6th day, that's a bit much. But also, people work over the weekend. People work when they get home from work. If you have a job like that, that is what you are required to do. And
Kinda sucks.
she shows, you can choose not to do that.
Surely you can't be serious.
You are not forced to have any of these jobs. You can move on from it, so it's really not a big deal. But anyway, like I'm saying, this content is all over TikTok. And then on the complete other side of TikTok, there are people who have totally abandoned the 9-to-5 workday.
How much of this are we watching?
They're traveling the world, and they seem like they have this endless supply of money. You have no idea how they make money. They're just floating around.
They're either rich or they're using their parents' money.
Yeah, much like the hippies in the 60s.
Yeah.
They're probably rich children.
If you're 20 and you're traveling the world, there's no fucking shot that you're making that money. You're making enough money to do that.
Yeah.
Very few people are that lucky.
I'm telling everybody, this is the life that you need to live. Get rid of your jobs. Just do this. So obviously, people are getting very confused.
Oh my god, the fucking van life people are the worst. Dude, just so you know, van life is the biggest scam because...
I stay away.
A lot of the van lifers are people who have giant houses and are both they're both remote workers. Okay, so remote work does make some of this possible.
That is true.
Yeah.
Anything is... People talk about, coming in 5 days a week to the office. that is more of like a power grab by the companies. A lot of stuff you could do at home. So like I can see why Gen Z is like, what do you mean I have to come in to do this? I can do this at home because Gen Z is much more, equipped and knowledgeable about technology than probably their own bosses, and they know that hey, all this bullshit. Like I was doing essays on my phone, okay? Like I was here doing final projects on my fucking Samsung S7.
Brett,
why do you need to come in to put in like Excel spreadsheets on your shitty, like your computer is shittier than my laptop.
Brett sounds like a Cooper. I mean, like a fucking boomer. Crap. Brett sounds like a boomer.
No, it's like, dude, I don't need to work on your computer's shittier than my phone. If I use Samsung Dex mode, I have a more powerful fucking machine than the ones you have in the office.
Yeah,
there's no reason. You could say maybe it's security concern if you really work in a high up place, maybe.
But they're paying you enough to make that worth your time.
Yeah, I mean you're getting paid a pretty penny.
Yeah. Most jobs do not require you to be present in the office,
And it's more or less you just justifying the fact that you took out a really risky loan on an office space,
Ah, damn.
Messages.
They have started to realize there is more to discover, more adventures to take, more to life.
I hate watching these. These make me, unironically, these kind of make me want to kill myself sometimes watching these, because it's like, man, I wish I had money.
Yeah.
Hey, the therapist and FBI profiler and CIA assassins watching this, just know that I'm actually not that suicidal. I'm only suicidal watching this shit. And possibly anything with... What's her face in it? Candace Owens?
Yeah.
Anything with her in it also drives some ideation.
That only benefits rich white men who have lied and stolen.
You're a rich white girl! What the fuck? Your husband is that, more than likely. If not, your daddy.
They are realizing there is an endless world just waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah!
You survived your existential crisis with benefits, alright? You found out that there's more to life than just working.
I love my white husband, but he's also the devil, and men like him are ruining the world. Man, talk about confused.
Let's see what she has to say.
They obviously have to bring in rich white men. Like, the only reason you would have a 9-to-5 is to benefit rich white men. Race did not need to be brought into that. Somebody commented and said, how the hell do you afford anything? I'd love to travel the world.
Yeah.
Which is usually what happens in those comment sections. That's a great question. But it is not just Gen Z that is expressing this. I see these posts on LinkedIn all the time of people going, like, we have to prep for Gen Z. Like, they don't want to work these jobs. What are we going to do? The parents are concerned. I saw this podcast clip from a mom.
The younger generation, like maybe people who are 17, 18, 19 now, they have a very different view on working and burnout and life and productivity and economics than we do. I work so many hours, but my 12-year-old, she's like, what? Like, I never want to work. Like, no, but they have this like real, like, I deserve to live like a good life without work.
I do think it's
I don't think that's what it is. I think what we're seeing there is the fact that a lot of the Gen Zers, and shit, let's be honest, a lot of millennials too, they don't really want to have kids, and if they do have kids, they have them in like really small numbers, like usually 1 or 2, like below replacement rate.
You asked a 12-year-old.
Yeah, that's also
a 12-year-old, unless they're born in, like Sarah Huckabee Sanders' state, where they're forced to work in, the places where they're cleaning up slaughterhouses because she made it easier for them to work at the age of 12, with no regulations.
Yeah, so by the time they're 15, they've already had 3 years of experience in killing cattle.
PTSD from cleaning the blood of slaughterhouse. Yeah, but normally, like a 12-year-old isn't really thinking about working. The 12-year-old's brain is like, I'm out here having fun.
That's true. You're asking someone whose brain is like halfway cooked.
Yeah. Yeah, of course they're not thinking about work. They can't conceptualize the thought of working most of their life because most of their life has just been fun and, school.
Growing up,
Yeah,
you ever ask a worker who's like 23 and they're like, I just want to work enough to live? Like, I actually asked some people. I cover labor for a living. And the common sentiment amongst workers is that they want to make enough to live. Mm-hmm. They want to make enough to where... I love this example because it was a guy who I talked to at the airport. He said, I live with 3 roommates. I want to make enough to not live with 3 roommates.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty reasonable ask. The guy worked like 35, 40 hours a week. That's the problem, right? It's not that they don't want to work 35 to 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
It's that they want to work enough to live.
Yeah.
They're not like what are you gonna do? Make him work every single day? Yeah, if he worked every single day, he could make rent comfortably. Never have a free day in his life.
Mm.
Like that's not good either, man. That's also bad. Bad, Brett Cooper. You gotta get out and talk to the people, Brett. You're inside. You're in your ivory tower, looking down at the pores. Come on now. You sound like a Harvard graduate. Come on, we all know those people aren't
she's
people.
a UCLA graduate, actually. She graduated from UCLA, so.
Oh well, speaking of ivory towers, she doesn't talk to the common man anymore. Them UCLA people, them ivory tower people. So that
It's the public school that has became Ivy League, but not really because it's a public school. But there's a lot of
the people at UCLA got ego though.
It's a wide ocean. Right?
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm just saying, man. When your student meal is $10, hey, the student meal. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
We earned a little ego, all right. That's
Taking out loans to afford your Carl's Jr. meal, man. I don't know. Like, just like.
Damn. That hurts. I feel the pain, man. I feel the pain.
Yeah.
Interesting, though, that this woman is talking about her 12-year-old daughter, who's scoffing at the fact that her mom works, and we're taking that as, like, fact. It's your 12-year-old daughter. She doesn't want to work because she's 12 years old. She wants to live life.
Damn, I feel kind of bad now.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Brett
Brett.
Cooper isn't bad. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Female Ben Shapiro.
Yes.
Very facts and reasoning, or logicking, I guess.
Yep. Better than
years
Benny.
old. She does not have responsibilities yet. And as her mother, you should not be excusing this, and you should actually be encouraging her to work hard and show her that you actually do have to make a living some way or other. The point still stands. People are realizing that things are changing, but it is kind of funny that it's about a 12-year-old girl.
The generation above us, maybe, or maybe 2 generations above us, would have been like, no, yes, you are.
Yeah.
But we're all like, nah, yes, sweet, don't work a 9 to 5, it sucks.
So obviously the parents are leaning into that and saying, no, you don't need to go work a 9 to 5. You don't need to have the traditional route. Make your own path. And of course, that's totally fine if you don't want to do that.
I'm leaving.
Okay, then. That was always allowed.
And historically, this is the attitude that a lot of people have had, and they have it until they graduate and they go into the real world and they realize that they actually do have to have a normal job, and they actually have to make money to survive, and one has to, work and maybe do something they don't like in order to make that money, which enters, of course, the age-old dilemma of I can't believe I have to work for the rest of my life. I don't want this 9 to 5. And right now, we're hitting that point with Gen Z. I saw this article, and this is what sparked me wanting to do this episode. Gen Zers in their first internship can't fathom working for the rest of their life. I'm just supposed to do this forever because I need money? Yes. I don't know what else to tell you.
I don't think that's the common trait, because I've also been talking to a lot of those working people, especially from the unions, Unite Here 11. No, man, the common thread amongst them is they just want to make enough to live. They work 35 to 40 to 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I think under that condition, it's very reasonable to be able to live in the city that you work in.
Maybe.
A lot of those people can't even live in the city that they work in.
Yeah, maybe if you took higher, middle, or rich Gen Z people, they'll have that feeling. But if you were poor, lower income, working class, you've always had that thought, you know? You always knew. It's not crazy. You've seen it in your parents.
Mm-hmm.
It's fact of life. What do you mean?
Yeah, if you grew up like that, hell, even middle class mostly, for the most part, a lot of those people grew up watching their families work.
Yeah.
If that's the reality of being in a working class family. You don't get to live for free.
Yes, the article was referring to this tweet, which has gone viral. It was originally in subreddit Late Stage Capitalism. The post has now been deleted, but of course it's the internet, so the post is lasting forever. This person said, Any other Gen Z workers finding it impossible to fathom the rest of our lives like this. I'm in the midst of my first internship, and
it got deleted.
cannot believe that generation after generation has been doing this bullshit work and is fine with it. I sat sobbing at my laptop today trying to write some blog post about federal funding that was assigned to me today. Well, obviously you'd be crying. It's about federal funding. That's like the most miserable subject ever. Nobody wants to talk about that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Anyway, doing the most boring shit of all time that drains me of all my energy and has zapped my passion for writing. And I'm just supposed to do this forever with a smile on my face because I need money? Each and every person who made this system and keeps it upright and acts like they're happy about it too. I'm also a full-time waitress at 2 restaurants and I want to be an artist and a writer, but nothing that fills my cup or makes me happy will ever pay the bills. I feel so pissed off at the world right now, and even though I know that not every day will feel this bad, I also can't help but fear that it's only ever going to get worse as I have to pay for more things to survive, and this bullshit job will be all I can rely on. I hate it here. And this whole thing, like, I understand that you had a bad day, and I understand that it's not fun, and not everybody's job is perfect and fun. All jobs have downsides, but the system...
You come up with that yourself?
The system of having to work here upset the system. Like, buddy, you're gonna have to go way back to deal with that system, the person who created that system, because for all of time, man has been working.
But I think you're missing the point, Brett, which is that she works minimum 2 jobs. I think, no, she said 2 restaurants. She works 3 jobs. She's overworking. No one name one person in your life who works more than 1 job and wants to work more than 1 job.
Yeah.
A single fucking person, dude. A single... No one wants to work 2, 3, 4... Because that shit's unstable, it's stressful, and usually you go from one job to the next. That is hard. That is a hard life to live. No one wants to do that. I think you're kind of missing the point on purpose, because I know you're smart enough to see it when... in other moments, like earlier. So, I think you're playing dumb. I have more faith in you than this. I think you're playing dumb a little.
Your job is different than, the jobs of 3 generations ago, but we were still working. That is not something new. That is not something that is happening to you.
3 generations ago, 1 job would be enough to have a family.
Mm-hmm. You would have had a lot more buying power.
Yeah. Like, 3 generations ago, she could have been a stay-at-home mom. And if she was working, they would be upper middle class. That's not possible anymore.
Hustle culture isn't dead, it's just getting a Gen Z rebrand. So Gen Z, in a way, is rebranding hustle culture into side hustle culture. And they are becoming extremely entrepreneurial because they don't want to work for anybody else. They want to be working on their own projects. They want to find something that they love, that they're passionate about.
That's kind of arguably the most American thing ever, isn't it?
I was going to say, like, that's American, isn't it?
That is American as fuck.
To be your own boss.
They know that they do have to work, even though they don't like it. So they're going home and working on other things that fill their cup. Gen Z has their normal job, they have the job that pays the bills, and then they're going home to work on a side hustle that they actually really enjoy. And I don't think that that's a bad thing at all.
That's a good thing.
Now, if you're like Gen Z and you have a side hustle, then you need Stamps.com.
Oh boy.
Nope. Thank you.
Yeah, no, we're not sharing your advertisers because...
we don't have any.
Yeah,
Side projects like
free from the pool of American
the article
capitalism.
goes on and says, young people say that passion projects provide what day jobs can't. Many Gen Zers don't see achieving their dream careers by climbing the corporate ladder. They'd rather build their dream careers themselves. Walters estimates that 1 in 5 of her peers is trying to launch their own business, a sign that hustle culture is evolving from her point of view. Hustling isn't so much about killing yourself at your 9 to 5, she says, but pursuing passion products that provide what day jobs may not. Creative fulfillment and sometimes extra money to pay the bills. As your own boss, Walter says, you're pouring into yourself and you're investing in yourself. And this kind of makes me laugh because this is not some new revolutionary idea. Gen Z did not just discover being an entrepreneur. Gen Z did not discover having hobbies and having interests out of your 9 to 5 job. And maybe this is something that every generation just has to come to, but it's funny that we are discussing it at this high of a level. And the Gen Z is claiming that this is some amazing rebrand and they've, cracked the code. Like, no.
I mean, I would argue that our generation is far more independent than the last generation. Yeah, I mean, we were born in the digital age. People are talking about being able to do blogging and YouTubing and all this type of stuff.
And also,
now.
stuff like Etsy, eBay, selling your stuff online. There's more ease of access to becoming an independent business, given you don't have the capital or the leeway to buy a storefront. But if you are, it's a crochet, you're making stuff, fixing electronics, fixing stuff like flipping furniture, you could just, buy and resell online without much in your way.
If you're novel enough, you could do shit like beekeeping.
Like what?
Like if you're novel enough,
Mm.
you could even like be a beekeeper online and probably sell that as footage and video.
Yeah.
People really like that type of stuff.
Yeah. The information age brought just better ability at becoming an entrepreneur.
All right,
No,
let's move on.
everybody is
I like how she puts down the idea that they want to actually work for themselves. It's
Mm.
had hobbies and passions outside of their 9 to 5. But it is positive, and it is cool that Gen Z is finding a way for those hobbies
Yeah.
to help pay them a little more. And of course, like I said, people have had hobbies outside of work forever. They have
I actually think it's a little weird because you would argue that Gen Zers as a generation are kind of workaholics. The fact that they're trying to turn their hobbies into jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, we're actually more pressured to work, and we work
Yeah.
more now as a result of it. If you
Like
take
stuff that was meant to
narrative.
relieve stress, they want to put a dollar sign to it.
Yeah, arguably our generation kind of did. We kind of did rebrand it by turning things that we loved into things that we can make money off of. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that was something that older generations came up with and had the ideas of. But the younger generation is actually, like, turning that to fruition, you know?
Yeah.
Especially with all the different avenues you can make money online.
Like
So,
leisure is work.